So I did a poll on Instagram there recently asking whether or not you guys thought that depicting Jesus as white is racist. This is a very interesting facet of this whole race and ethnicity conversation that's going on at the minute. So if that sounds like something that you would be interested in, then stick around to hear some of my thoughts on it. Yo, what is up? Welcome back to All Things Theology. My name is Andrew, and on this channel, I talk about theology, the Bible, living as a Christian. If that stuff sounds interesting to you, which, I mean, you're here, so maybe it does, then consider subscribing. Make sure you click that bell icon so that you never miss another video. So this would make like a great religious studies exam paper question, I think. Is it racist to depict Jesus as white? Answer for 10 marks, showing that you have considered both sides of the argument. So I don't wear glasses, as you can see. These are my wife's sunglasses because she's taken her glasses to work. I actually have the exact same ones. She totally copied me. Anyway, not here to talk about sunglasses, here to talk about Jesus. Let's do that. So I want to share some arguments as to why it is not racist and some arguments as to why it is racist. We'll compile all of that and then we'll see what we think. So firstly, I want to say an argument for it not being racist is that all cultures across the world kind of depict Jesus as one of their own. So we're very familiar with European Jesus, with the white skin and the blonde hair and the blue eyes. But in Asia or in India or in Africa, all across the world, Jesus is depicted as kind of one of their own. So in Asia, Jesus is Asian. He looks like an Asian guy. Or in India, Jesus looks like an Indian guy, and so on and so forth. And so how can it be racist to do that if every culture across the world does it? Second argument as to why it might not be racist to depict Jesus as white is that it makes Jesus almost feel more relatable, because the whole point of the incarnation, or one of the points of it, was so that God could come down and live amongst us as humans, that he could humble himself and live like us, live with us. And so how can it be wrong to make Jesus a little bit more relatable, to make him look like us so that he's more relatable? But I'm going to poke a wee hole in that argument, because I think that that almost implies that people of different ethnicities, people of different skin colours aren't like us. And not even necessarily that they are inferior, that we are better than them, but even to say that those people who look like that are a different sort of human to me, and so I can't relate to a Jesus that looks like them because he's not actually like me. That's a very slippery slope. Whenever you start saying that someone is subhuman or semi-human or something other than the human that you are, then you're 3 steps away from genocide. Now, that's not to say that genocide is the inevitable consequence of thinking like this, but that is where the logic of that can very easily take you. So I think that argument is kind of a moot point. It's like a cow's opinion. Doesn't matter. Another argument why it is racist to depict Jesus as white is that some people would say it kind of deifies whiteness, because Jesus is God. We've covered that. Jesus is God, and so if you make Jesus white, then that almost raises whiteness to this, I don't know, this kind of virtue, this level of holiness that is much superior to any other sort of ethnicity, any other skin color. I'm not convinced on that argument, because the opposite of that then, if you depict Jesus, or if you try and depict Jesus as accurately as you possibly can, then surely that just deifies the ethnicity that he would have been. So I'm not convinced on that. Very quickly though, if you are getting value out of this video, then please do leave it with a like. That really does help me a lot. I think the answer to all of this, as with many things in Christianity, it doesn't lie on either extreme. It's kind of somewhere in the middle. It maybe isn't strictly racist to depict Jesus as white, but neither is it helpful, I think. And this is what I mean. I did this Instagram poll. A third of you said it is racist to depict Jesus as white. 2/3 of you said it's not. But the people who messaged me, who talked about this to me, they all kind of said the same thing. Whether they voted yes or no, they all kind of said that portraying Jesus as white can very easily feed into these kind of subconscious biases that we have. So, but ideas and beliefs and notions that we have that we maybe don't even realize that we have, but which affect our actions and our behaviors and our attitudes. And so making Jesus white kind of feeds into this subconscious bias, this subconscious idea that white is normal. And from that position of subconsciously thinking that white is normal, that's really not going to be helpful. So there's this really great verse in Ephesians, it's chapter 4, verse 29. It says, "Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen." I think that this totally raises the bar above where we might normally set it whenever it comes to our words in this situation. Because rather than asking, oh, is this racist? Is that racist? A much better question is this helpful? Is this going to build others up according to their needs? Is this going to help me to live like Jesus, to love my neighbour, to love the Lord? And whenever it comes to depicting Jesus as white, I don't think it's helpful. I think it does feed into these subconscious biases that we have, that white is normal and that anything other than white is abnormal. These aren't things that we can afford to be thinking as Christians. These aren't biases that we can allow to slide as Christians, because that has caused so much hurt and pain and death. And so that's my conclusion. I think that it's maybe not racist to depict Jesus as white, but it's certainly not helpful. Guys, if you found this video helpful, then please do leave it with a like. If you have any thoughts or comments on this, then I would love to hear them. Please do leave a comment below or message me on Instagram at All Things Theology. I do love it whenever people jump in with this stuff and we get a bit of a conversation going. That makes me happy. So that would be nice. So anyway, please do leave this with a like. If you're not a subscriber, remember to do that, and I will see you in the next video. God bless.